What's up, fam? So we have a story here out of New York City where a mother and daughter are suing Ulta because Ulta refused to do their hair. Let me know if you feel that they got a case here. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. When you do subscribe, hit the notification bells. Every time I drop a video, you will be the first to know about it. This comes from BET.com and it reads NYC salon sued after allegedly telling black patrons it doesn't do their kind of hair. A mother and her 7-year-old daughter say they were refused service at an Upper East Side Ulta Beauty, with staffers citing discomfort with their hair type and texture. Now, I'm going to say this. What is wrong? I don't see, from just these two sentences, I don't see the salon did anything wrong. First of all, we're talking about Ulta. I know who works in Ulta down here in Texas. Just like, what you call it? What's the name of them damn place? Them super cuts and pro cuts or whatever the case like that, places like that. You know who mainly works in those places, so you know who mainly does the type of hair they do. If you go to a black barber shop and white folk walk go in there and want certain kind of cuts and waves and stuff like that, it's gonna be kind of tough. But anyway, let's not give too much. Let's read the story. It says a black mother and her young daughter are suing Ulta Beauty for racial discrimination after employees at the beauty chain's Upper East Side location in Manhattan allegedly refused to style their hair, telling the pair they don't work with their kind of hair, according to a federal lawsuit filed in New York. Lauren Smith and her 7-year-old daughter, identified in the court documents only as CM, arrived at the Ulta store at 188 East 86th Street on July 6, 2025. This was about a year ago. With confirmed 11 a.m. hairstyle and appointments ahead of a 3 p.m. professional photo shoot, according to the Gothamist. Both are professional models. But despite their scheduled appointments, the pair were turned away before a single strand of hair was touched. According to the complaint filed March 11 in Manhattan federal court, the assigned stylist, identified as Jessica C., told Smith she was not comfortable working with their type or texture of hair. Store employees also reportedly admonished Smith for not disclosing in advance what kind of hair you have, telling her they lacked experience with your kind of hair. I still don't see that Ulta did anything wrong. Again, I've been married, am married, got daughters, and I know that when they go get their hair done and come back, they ain't too happy sometimes, even when black folks do their hair, or if they go somewhere and it might be mixed people or white people or whatever the case. If they're trying to do their hair, it's like Africans, whatever. They like, they may not be too happy when they come back. I've seen where they went and got their hair done, they had to go somewhere else to get it retouched, just because the person that they went to didn't know what they're doing. Now, think about this. No, let me finish. Here's the part that makes it even worse. It makes it even worse. Both Smith and her daughter were wearing hats that completely concealed their hair at the time. Oh, no employee asked to see, touch, or examine their hair before refusing service. The lawsuit calls the stated reasons a clear pretext of race-based discrimination. Yeah, they could take their hats off and were bald headed. Who knows? The store manager, identified in a filing as Mohammed Salam, allegedly backed the stylist's decision and further chided the mother and daughter for not making their hair type known when booking the appointment. It's kind of like when they go get their hair done and the stylist want to know what kind of hair they have. Like you got like a C or a 1 or something, like, like when they get like fake hair. You got to know the person's hair, the texture. Well, maybe the salon should have asked, what type of hair do you have? It might have been online. If they did the appointment online, it might have been like on the phone. Nobody talked to anybody. So that could have been the issue. The complaint describes the fallout and painful details. Smith and her daughter were humiliated in front of other customers. The 7-year-old reportedly left the store crying hysterically, asking her mother, "What is wrong with my hair? And why can't I go there if there are brown girls in ads on the wall? They brown, they black. This is what I want to know. I need more context." So I hate that black and brown coalition type things because then you get people confused about who you're talking about and what you're talking about. Because we'll tell you that black folks are Americans, not foreigners. Because you go to other countries, they'll tell you, don't call them black. Only black Americans call themselves black in the world. And now you talking about black and brown coalition. I say I'm brown. My color is brown in context. So I mean, when you say brown girls, why y'all gotta stop with that politically correct mess? See, that's when you mess up your whole argument. Just say now. She said, "I can't go in if there are any black girls. If there are black girls on the wall, why can't they do my hair?" That would make more sense to me. Because when you say brown, I'm thinking talking about Mexicans or Hispanics, and their hair is straight, and for the most part, ours got a little kink to it. So I'm not understanding. Like I said, you gotta clarify that for me. The last line also tells you everything about the disconnect. Remember, this is BET, so there's no bias in this story. The last line alone tells you everything about the disconnect between how Ulta markets itself and how its employees allegedly treat their customers. On its website, the company describes itself as the nation's largest specialty beauty retailer with approximately 1,500 locations and says it is committed to creating a more inclusive world. Its site also states that Ulta Beauty recognizes the importance of magnifying, uplifting, supporting, and empowering the influences that Black voices bring to the beauty industry. Again, now y'all looking at the screen. Why can't I go to if there are brown girls on the walls and supporting, empowering the influence that Black voices bring to the beauty? Black, brown. You see that? That's two different things. The lawsuit filed by attorney Wendy Dolce alleges Ulta violated federal civil rights laws, the New York State human rights law, and the New York City human rights law, all of which prohibited discrimination based on race in places of public accommodation. The complaint also cites New York State licensing requirements that mandate cosmetologists be trained to work with all hair textures, not just some. Okay. The complaint also cites New York State licensing requirements that mandate cosmetologists be trained to work with all hair textures, not just some. Okay, I get that. If that's the case, then she got a case. Because no matter whether you like it or not, you got to go by the laws. But that means everybody has to be trained to do everybody's hair, which is interesting because when you go to a lot of these schools, most of the Americans and dummies they use, they got silky slick hair. There's not a whole lot of, black hair mannequins. I know there's probably more now, but you go to them schools to be people of different hues, lighter hues, thinner hair. Uh, so you got to deal with them for the most part, and then come back to your community and try to figure out how to do hair for your own people. Uh, I don't know. Like I said, but if it's law, it's law. Ain't nothing else you can stand on. The filing goes further, alleging that this incident is not an isolated one, but part of what is called a systemic corporate indifference by Ulta Beauty. The complaint references press reports and prior legal claims alleging similar racially discriminatory conduct at other locations that includes allegations from Ulta employees in 2029 that the company engaged in racial profiling of customers. At the time, Ulta released a statement saying it was disappointed to hear that anything like this could have happened in our stores. Smith and her daughter are seeking compensatory and punitive damages as well as court order policy changes, including mandatory anti-discrimination training for salon employees and updated service policies. Here's the thing. I don't know what the woman and her daughter look like, but I mean, you want to just keep it real and keep it a buck. Why would you want somebody who don't know you, who ain't you, work on you when it comes to something as important as your hair? Women, two things that they take the most pride in and take are more serious about are the hair and the shoes. If you're going to get your hair done and it's going to cost maybe a few $100, Wouldn't you want to go somewhere with people that look like you, who knows how to, that you know? I mean, this is just common sense. And maybe I'm just old school from the South. But if I went to a barbershop, I would not go to a barbershop with white barbers. I'm sorry. Just wouldn't do it. I mean, they probably can cut hair good and probably can do fades, and I get it. But now if I go to a black barbershop and there is a white or Hispanic guy cutting hair, yeah, I would do it. But I would not intentionally go into a barbershop that's playing that I mean that's ran or owned by people of other ethnicities, expecting them to do my hair right. Just not gonna do it. It's just like if you a lot of people ain't going to certain restaurants because they know that the food that they serve. That's like going into a Thai restaurant and saying, "Hey, I need you to make this Thai food and put some Lowry's in it." And they're like, "We don't put Lowry's in our food," or put some paprika or something, or salt and pepper. And they said, "We don't put that in our food." Now you want to go sue because they ain't make the food to your standards. It don't make sense. So one dude put a quote in the comment on the store on this story on another page. He said, "So if I take my Cadillac to a Volvo dealer or a Volvo shop and they can't work on my Cadillac, do I sue them for discrimination because they don't know how to work on Cadillacs?" But again, if it's the law and you have to abide by the law, no matter what. If it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. So with that sense, I can't really trip on it. But in the logical sense, should have took y'all bus to somebody look just like you so you can do your hair. And not stop trying to say I went to a white establishment or a high end establishment. It would ultimately be considered a high end establishment. Hell, they do makeup. I mean, they sell perfume and cologne and stuff. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Well, anyway, tell me what you think about this story. Leave your comments below. Share with the world. Let's have an intelligent conversation. You know how we do around here. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Those four things cost you maybe a couple of minutes out of